can exist eternally if you touch the source of the cosmos and if you increase the frequency. Here Mahadeva is giving us very powerful method to increase your frequency. This technique is so powerful. I can say just this technique has kept one stream of living enlightened masters on the planet Earth alive. There are few techniques which is responsible for keeping a living stream of enlightened beings on the planet Earth. One is Vipassana, great technique from Buddha, and the other one is this technique, this method. Becoming center of the sound. Almost all the branches of Vedic tradition work with this technique. Working with mantra, working with some sound. There is no branch in Vedic tradition which does not give a particular sound or a mantra. Any master, any yogi, any rishi, he will give you some mantra. And you will be surprised to know 25 million people in USA practice some form or some branch of Vedic tradition. I was surprised to see the statistics. Many of the magazines, many of the statistics confirm this. The reason is, it's very simple. Even if you practice any one mantra, you fall under this category. You are working on this technique. Knowingly or unknowingly, you are working on this technique. When you work on any mantra, you become center of that sound. You become center of that vibration. You become center of that frequency. And one more thing, many people come and ask me, what is the meaning of this mantra, Swamiji? Mantra cannot have meaning. If it has got meaning, it is not mantra. Be very clear. No. Mantra has got only one importance, that is phonetic importance, the sound, vibration, not linguistic. No meaning is conveyed. No meaning can be conveyed through mantra. Mantra is used to make you realize that you are the center of the cosmic sound, Anahata Dvani. By penetrating into that mantra, suddenly you will realize you are the center of the sound. You will raise your frequency to a different level. You will enter into a cosmic sound. Mantra is used for a purpose. Purpose of raising your frequency to a different level. Not for giving any meaning, conveying any meaning. All mantras, chantings leads to different frequency, takes you to a different awareness. One more thing about this meditation technique, this method, you don't need a separate place to practice. You don't need a separate place to practice. Anywhere you can do. Any place is okay. Because you don't even need silence. You don't even need silence. Even if you are in marketplace, okay, you can do this. Let me define the mantra. An engram. Engram is something like a word which enters your inner space and creates more and more bondage. Those words which goes in your inner space creates bondage is engram. Words which enters your inner space and liberates you is mantra. Any sound, when it comes inside you, if you don't give meaning to it and just go to the center, even your spouse shouting at you can become mantra. Any word, if you give meaning to it and go towards the outward, even mantra can become samskara. If you just travel towards the center of the sound, even your spouse shouting at you can become mantra, means you can go to that center, or it can become samskara in you. If you give meaning to those words, it can become samskara. If you don't give meaning and just go to the center of the sound, it will become mantra. Whether you are going to travel with the sound to the center of the sound or give meaning to the sound, go outward, is your decision. Sometimes people make even mantra as a samskara. If you are conditioned by a particular mantra, if you don't like other mantra people, then that becomes samskara. No, we do it. All the religious wars, from where it came, from how it comes, getting conditioned to a particular sound and does not like other sounds, getting conditioned to the word Krishna or Christ and does not like the other sound, getting conditioned to one sound and doesn't want to listen to the other sound. So even mantra, if you go outward, can become samskara. Even samskara, if you go inward, can become mantra. Even violence, shouting, can take you to the center of the sound. Even mantra, which is supposed to silence you, can take you towards violence, terrorism. It's your choice. Sound is a very powerful method to raise you to the higher frequency or lower frequency. You can either drop yourself into the lower frequency or raise yourself to the higher frequency. Understand? Even when you are sleeping, you are recording all the sounds happening around you. That is why I always tell people, if somebody is unconscious or in coma state, do not utter any negative words around that person. If somebody is in coma state, you go to see him and thinking that he will not be able to hear, you start talking, I think he will go away. Just get ready. He has written his will. You start talking all these things. You don't know, he is listening. He is hearing. What in coma state? Even your kids are listening when they are inside the womb. Now recently in Russia they started teaching to the kids when they are inside the womb. The kids are taught, program, schooling starts before birth. Recently only Russia started, but 10,000 years ago the Vedic rishis have done it. Narada did it. Narada did for Prahlada. There's a record, beautiful story of Narada and Prahlada. Narada was teaching to Prahlada about the science of enlightenment, science of devotion, bhakti, when he was in the womb of his mother. And same way, Krishna was teaching the science of fighting, science of archery to Abhimanyu when he was in the womb of his mother. Sounds can touch you even when you are not completely aware of the outer world. Even when you are not supposed to listen or hear, even when the others believe that you are not hearing, you are hearing. I know a story near Calcutta. There was a small village. Every day night 2 o'clock the train will pass through that village. One day they changed the route. The train stopped going through that village. The whole village complained. No, their sleep was disturbed. Really, there were many strange complaints that we are listening some strange sound, we are disturbed. See, because they are waiting to listen to that sound every night. Their unconscious is open, available, waiting. When they don't listen that particular sound, they start listening to all the small sounds. Those small sounds, change of sound was disturbing. That's why they complained. Actually, the police has to do a big inquiry. Why so much of disturbance in that whole village? Then they understood. Unconsciously, you are waiting, you are listening, you are recording everything. I feel, actually, with my own conscious scanning, I have seen people who are living in the city where too much of traffic noise is there. Their inner space is terribly disturbed because they do not know how to use that sound, that noise to go into the center. See, if you even have a subtle resistance to sounds, constantly you will be getting irritated without knowing why you are getting irritated. Because these sounds are entering into you constantly without your consciousness. Unconsciously you are listening to the sound and getting irritated. That became a complete total unconscious process, a separate underworld process. I always tell people, never ever carry irritation or disturbance against anybody or anything. Even if a simple thing like a irritation because of some sound can become routine in your unconscious setup. Constantly sound will come, you will get irritated, your awareness, your inner space will not even be aware of this whole process happening. You will not even know why you are irritated, but you will be irritated. You will be thinking you are irritated because of this, because of that. No. It's an unconscious process. There is a beautiful secret or the truth taught to me by one of the sadhu with whom I lived. His name is Narayana Swami. He's a great tantric, adept in the science of using the sound vibrations to do something in the outer world. He's very great adept. He's a master of sounds. He told me, even if you carry one negative word against any person, you will be punished. I said, you mean I will be punished in hell? He said, no. Even in your dreams, you will go through the suffering. Many times, when you wake up the early morning, you will see that you went through a suffocating, disturbing mental state. Whether you go through in the dream state or waking state, it is suffering. Am I right? Whether you go through in the dream state or waking state, it is suffering. In the waking state, you forget about the suffering which you had in the dream state. Because of that, that looks too simple or small. But when you are in the dream state itself, that was equal deep suffering like a waking state suffering. Understand, this has revealed a great secret, important thing to me. This is the answer to one important question. People come to me and ask, I feel always the good people are suffering and bad people are enjoying. No. You don't know what he is going through in his dreams. You understand? You don't know what he is going through in his dreams. We are not sure of what he is going through in his dreams. He may be having bigger car, bigger house, but that does not mean he is enjoying, he is happy. Every person goes through his karma, either in waking state or in dream state, but the suffering is unavoidable as long as you carry thorns in your inner space. See, these thorns are like a points in which the sound which flows through you is disturbed. This thorn or the ego which stops the sounds flow in your inner being is the root of suffering. Any sound, any noise created around you, if it can just flow through you without getting judged, without being given any meaning, you will suddenly see you are liberated. But your conditioning is so deep. Every sound, either you respond positively or negatively, but always you respond. Even if you miss one word in conversation, you say, pardon, please tell me once more. You don't want to miss single sound. You can see in your own life. Somebody comes to you and says, A comes to you and says, you know that B was talking about you. You know B is your enemy. He will only talk against you. Now you can neither keep quiet, I don't want to know, if I know I'll get irritated, nor tell him, please tell him, I want to learn, I want to listen. One side, your mind will be a little tempted, no, let me listen. At least let me know what he told. The other side, no, I know by knowing I'm going to get unnecessarily disturbed. Why to ask? But the temptation is so strong, finally you end up telling him, please tell me, at least let me know. And once he opens up and tells those words, you start creating your own meaning. Then, what does he mean by it? Then easy like that? Or am I this or what? You add your own words, your own meaning, your own commentary, and now you are ready with a big suffering. You don't feel fortunate that at least you have not heard those things directly. No. See, it's like inside you there is a space which is just waiting to listen all the disturbing words, and after listening you are ready to get disturbed. And it's like such a temptation. You can neither say complete no, don't tell me, go. You can neither tell that, nor you can be comfortable listening to it. It's like a suffering attracts suffering. Suffering attracts suffering. Because inside you there is a part which is like it's like a critical mass of suffering. It feels rejuvenated, alive, when you get some stuff or material for more suffering. For more suffering.